Today, we will talk about what is Form 1040-X, Amended U.S. Individual Income Tax Return. The 1040-X, Amended U.S. Individual U.S. Income Tax Return is a form used by taxpayers who need to correct an error in a previously filed federal tax return. Common mistakes corrected with this form include errors in the taxpayer's filing status or number of dependents or omissions of credits or deductions. Form 1040-X should not be used to correct simple mathematical errors in a tax return, as the Internal Revenue Service routinely corrects such mistakes while processing returns. A 1040-X form should be filed by anyone who has already filed a tax return and needs to amend it for any of the following reasons. All pages of Form 1040-X can be found on the IRS webpage. This form is an itemized, line-by-line description of all possible adjustments, so the taxpayer can clearly record the exact type and amount of each amendment and enter a brief description of what is being amended and why. The filer must include not only the 1040-X but a revised version of the entire 1040 or 1040-SR, including any attached forms and schedules, even if they were not amended. Taxpayers can e-file a Form 1040-X or send it to the IRS by mail. Form 1040-X can only be filed after an annual return is filed. Be sure to include the following documents with your amended return. In order to receive a credit, taxpayers must file a 1040-X form within 3 years after the original return was filed or within 2 years after the tax was paid, whichever is later. The IRS provides the following tips to taxpayers about Form 1040-X. When you file 1040-X, be sure you look out for anything that you missed, such as exemptions, deductions, and credits. It may seem daunting and you may feel as though you'll be penalized for having to correct any errors. But there are advantages that come with amending your income tax return, including: keep in mind that you may also have to report additional income that you didn't include on your original return. If this happens, your taxable income will increase and you may have a balance owing. This means you are responsible for paying the outstanding amount plus any fees and penalties that may apply. The 1040-X allows a taxpayer to amend or correct a previously filed tax return. If you forgot to claim a credit or record a deduction, this is the form to use. If you made a mathematical error, forget about it. The IRS always runs the numbers and corrects that kind of error. You have to file Form 1040-X after filing your 1040, 1040-SR, or 1040-NR. You're amending your earlier tax return with the correct information. If you e-filed your annual return, you can now e-file a 1040-X using commercial tax preparation software. That's the fastest way to get your money back if you're owed any. You can send it in the mail if you prefer. The IRS lists 4 separate addresses for use by residents of different regions and for Americans living abroad. No. Direct deposit is not currently available for refunds based on amended returns. You'll get a check in the mail from the IRS. The IRS says it can take up to 16 weeks to process an amended return even if it's filed electronically. About 3 weeks after you file the 1040-X, you can start checking the status of your filing on the IRS website on its. Here are 5 key takeaways. 1. IRS Form 1040-X is filed by taxpayers to amend an annual tax return that was previously filed. 2. To get a refund, the form must be filed within 3 years after the original return was filed or within 2 years after the tax was paid, whichever is later. 3. Form 1040-X should be used to correct material changes but not to fix mathematical errors. 4. You can e-file the form if you e-filed the corresponding tax return. Otherwise, mail it in. 5. You should include any unsubmitted and supporting documents with the form. Hope this would help. Thanks for watching.